Jai Swaminarayan. Today let's read the 15th passage from the second Gadhadā. This passage is titled, Keeping Enmity Towards One's Svabhāvs. In Sanskrit, bhava refers to a kind of sentiment or mode of feeling, and swa is a prefix that essentialates. Is that a word? It refers to the essence of the word that it affixes itself to. In this context, the Svabhāv refers to our essential material nature. Not in a positive sense, but in the sense of the deepest part of our samskaras, our impressions that ultimately lead us away from realizing our true self. These include things like lust, arrogance, avarice, anger, which are certainly parts of our survival mechanism, our essential components of our material nature, but non-essential for our spiritual nature. And in fact, they are the inner enemies. Let's dive right into it. Pardon me. On Bhadarva, Sudhi II, Samvat 1878, or the 29th of August, 1821, Swami Sri Sahajanandji Maharaj was sitting on a small silken embroidered cloth, which had been placed on the veranda outside the mandir of Sri Vasudev Narayan in Dada Khachar's Darbar in Gadhadā. He was dressed entirely in white clothes. At that time, an assembly of munis as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him. Thereupon, Sriji Maharaj asked all of the Paramhansas a question. There is a single thought which, if applied, can destroy any Svabhāv, regardless of how formidable it may be. Without that thought, the Svabhāv cannot be eradicated, even if one were to apply 1,000 other thoughts. What is that thought? Please answer according to your understanding. And if you want to have a go at it, you are more than welcome to in the comment section. The Paramhansas replied according to their understanding, but none were able to give a complete explanation. Sriji Maharaj then said, Here, I shall explain. If one has an enemy, and if that enemy were to ruin whatever work one is doing, or if they were to swear at one's mother or sister, then one would bear an intense aversion for them and would employ any means whatsoever to keep them away. If not that, one would at least be extremely happy if someone else were to keep them away. In the same way, if the inner enemies of lust, anger, etc. hinder a person while they are striving to attain liberation, they would harbor the same sort of enmity towards them as well. Moreover, that enmity would never diminish. Whoever applies such a thought can eradicate all Svabhāvs with that thought alone. Now, if a sadhu were to criticize and insult those internal enemies of lust, anger, etc., then a person who has the aforementioned thought would not develop an aversion towards that sadhu. On the contrary, they would feel grateful to the sadhu and would feel, this sadhu is helping me conquer my enemy, and thus they are an extremely great benefactor. A person who has attained such a thought can destroy all of their inner enemies. Thereafter, no vicious Svabhāvs will be able to remain in their heart. Without this thought, though, the enemies in the form of the Svabhāvs can never be overpowered, regardless of whichever types of other thoughts one may apply. Therefore, keeping enmity towards one's Svabhāvs is the greatest thought of all. Thereafter, Sriji Maharaj asked, By which characteristics can one recognize a person who would never deflect from the 4 attributes of dharma, which means righteousness, righteous duty, vairagya, dispassion towards material things, jnana, of the Atma, knowing wisdom of the true self, and bhakti, loving devotion of God, coupled with knowledge of His glory? You are welcome to answer that question to your understanding too. I'd love to see that. All of the sadhus attempted to answer the question according to their understanding, but no one was able to give a precise answer. So, Sriji Maharaj explained, if from childhood a person has such a nature that they would never be suppressed by anyone's personality, nor could anyone mock someone or jest in their presence, nor could anyone make even a mild sarcastic comment at them, then such a person would never deflect from dharma, vairagya, jnana, and the bhakti of God. Even though their personality may make them appear arrogant because of their zeal to attain liberation, they will not leave the satsang fellowship under any circumstances. And that is the end of the 148th passage, or discourse from the Vachanamrut. Thank you for listening. Let me know how you feel about this passage below. Jai Swaminarayan.